Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/super. That's betterhelp.com/super. Hey, brother! Hey, remember in Harry Potter when Harry took career advice from a Death Eater and then went to work for the government that had already wrongfully accused him, expelled him, spread lies about him, summoned a toad from the depths of hell to torture him, and then begged him to tell the public that they were doing a good job?
I'm sorry, Professor. I must not tell lies.
Yeah, that never really sat well with me either. I mean, becoming an Auror certainly sounds cool, especially when it's introduced to you by someone at the time you assume is Mad-Eye Moody, recognizing the potential in Harry.
Half the cells in Azkaban are filled thanks to him.
And fighting dark wizards is what the whole story is about. Sort of. I mean, mostly just like one particular dark wizard, and for Harry, his involvement is largely, involuntary. He's attacked as a baby and literally marked by fate in a prophecy. But even then, the prophecy states the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Like, Harry is specifically destined to defeat this one guy, like not necessarily every other common sense dark wizard that ever shows up that the Aurors have to deal with. But if my wand was so powerful, how come Hermione was able to break it? Asked Harry. My dear boy, its remarkable effects were only directed at Lord Voldemort. Went for the, not saying the T at the end there. Thought it sounded kind of okay, Nailed it! Oh, yes. No, don't add. In fact, in some ways, and by some I mean all, becoming an Auror actually feels like it's a downgrade for Harry. I mean, he was the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
But as an Auror, he's just like a guy with a day job, Like, can't the wizarding world just let the man rest? Plus, at the end of the story, Harry tells Dumbledore's portrait that he is going to put the Elder Wand back, and then if he dies undefeated, the power of the wand will break. Which, if you ask me, feels like he could have got there a lot faster if he did what he did in the movie and just like, but whatever. But the point is that Harry becoming an Auror is like the worst possible job for that particular plan to come to fruition, because I don't know if you know this, Harry, and you legit might not, but like in general, most people's everyday lives do not involve battling other people, like ever, if they can help it. Heck, I can't even recall my own last battle.
Well, what?
So if you just take like literally any other regular job, you very well may not have to be in another fight and will be well on your way to actually ending the power of the Elder Wand. But putting yourself in the way of a never-ending line of wizard criminals feels like you are just asking for someone else to go break into that tomb and claim the wand, because I don't know if you recall, but like a lot of people heard how the wand works in that final battle, and I know they were all on your side like that day, but who's to say where they are 20 years from now, Cho Chang is like, wow, okay, not even gonna choose me now. Okay, all right, okay, I'm not bitter. Anyway, all I'm really trying to say is there are like at least 3 other way more obvious jobs I think Harry should have pursued after Hogwarts. And today I'm going to break down why they all make way more sense. All right, you can all probably guess the first one pretty easily because, we've talked about it before, but it just has to be said. Harry should have become the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor at Hogwarts.
You're a really good teacher, Harry.
This makes the absolute most sense of anything, I think. I mean, Voldemort is the one who put the Jinx on the job to begin with, and Harry is the one who defeats him and breaks the Jinx. Plus, this rotating position is a major plot point in every single book and every single one of Harry's year at Hogwarts, and it's the subject most relevant to his ultimate goal of defeating Voldemort, and the one he's the best at. He's the only one in his year to get an O in Defense Against the Dark Arts on their OWLs, and besides that, he already basically does it for a year anyway when they form the DA and he teaches everyone how to do Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Every great wizard in history has started out as nothing more than what we are now, students. If they can do it, Why not us?
And when they're doing that, he almost can't help but teach. Sometimes it seemed an insane idea, but at others, he found himself thinking about spells that had best served him in his various encounters with dark creatures and Death Eaters. Found himself, in fact, subconsciously planning lessons. The boy's a natural!
You're a really good teacher, Harry.
Think about it like this. When Lupin is trying to teach Harry the Patronus charm, it takes him weeks of solo training against the Boggart, and in that time, Harry only really learns the concept and doesn't actually produce a corporeal one until the Quidditch match when adrenaline is really high. Harry, on the other hand, after just a night of lessons, gets a huge number of Dumbledore's army to cast full-on Patronuses. Like, his skills in defense against the dark arts are only eclipsed by his ability to teach those skills to other people.
You're just flourishing your wand too much. Try it like this. Expelliarmus!
There's even this ringing endorsement from George. You wouldn't believe how many people, even people who work for the Ministry, can't do a decent shield charm, said George. Of course, they didn't have you teaching them, Harry. Do you see how Harry teaching is such a better application of his skills? Even just teaching Fred and George shield charms is benefiting the entire wizarding population, which is way more efficient than Harry hunting down individual dark wizards. And on top of that, Harry's greatest mentor, Dumbledore, was also a teacher who at one point also taught this exact class. And speaking of whom, teaching at the school could also lead to Harry becoming headmaster someday. And just how fitting is that? He could fill the position of Dumbledore. His lessons could make an entire population better at defending themselves instead of him having to fight baddies one at a time. And he gets to run the school that Voldemort could never truly take over and starts by teaching the position that he jinxed. I honestly can't believe that this is not what happens, but fine, whatever, go be a wizard cop, Harry. Except don't, because I have another way better idea for you, and I think you're really gonna like this one, okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? Professional Quidditch player.
Harry Potter receives 150 points for catching the snitch.
Gryffindor wins!
Harry Potter has caught the snitch. Gryffindor win!
I can fly. I mean, I'm a fair flyer, but I...
Better than fair, the way I heard it.
And yes, I know that might sound a little silly, but I think even from a literary standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm not just suggesting it oh, Harry liked Quidditch, so he should become a professional athlete. I know every kid at some point, myself included.
At least on this day, Jonathan got to practice his slam dunks and his play-by-play.
But he misses still.
Wants to grow up to be a superstar in whatever sport they love, and it's obviously just not that easy. But Harry is not just good at Quidditch, okay? He's literally the youngest seeker at Hogwarts in 100 years.
According to McGonagall.
That is singular talent. That is a one-of-a-kind, multi-generational LeBron James kind of talent, okay? The literal only reason Gryffindor doesn't win the Quidditch Cup for Harry's first 2 years is because, let's count. Harry was attacked by Voldemort in year 1, and the Basilisk was attacking students at the school, so the tournament was canceled in year 2, so Voldemort again. Then he only ever finally loses a match because freaking Dementors attack, and even the Seeker who outsought him, Cedric, agrees it was wholly unfair.
Bye-bye!
The point is, when Harry's allowed to play a regular game, he's basically unstoppable, which is rare, mind you, but even when he's got a rogue bludger or a teacher cursing his broom, he is still eking out wins. So the skill and talent are there, no question, but so is the symbolism for the story, because Quidditch in Harry Potter falls under the same category of candy and house elves and children's tales and music and all the things Dumbledore says Voldemort is just not capable of understanding. Sports are often said to be the most important unimportant thing, and it's because they are competition for the sake of fun and community. It pits teams against each other, but also brings people and knits communities together. And those are the kinds of magic that end up defeating Voldemort in ways he just cannot understand.
Are you saying you can apparate in and out of this room? Could you take us with you?
Of course, I'm an elf.
That was a bad one, Big V. Plus, Harry himself just has such a special relationship with flying. Like, when he enters the oh-so-foreign wizarding world, it is the very first thing he discovers he is naturally good at without having to be told how to do it. This was wonderful! It's also the only thing he thinks separates him from Ron in terms of talent, and when Lupin is teaching him how to do the Patronus and he has to think of a happy memory, it's the first thing that comes to his mind. And remember how Barty Crouch Jr. was the one who suggested that Harry become an Auror in the first place? Well, he also tells him that he's a great flyer. Excuse me, you've got strengths that I say you've got them. Think now, what are you best at? Harry tried to concentrate. What was he best at? Well, that was easy, really. Quidditch, he said dully, and a fat lot of help. That's right, said Moody, staring at him very hard, his magical eye barely moving at all. You're a damn good flyer from what I've heard. I think I was kind of doing like a bit of a pirate thing for Moody there.
I nailed it.
Yes! But besides that, even before he's got the idea of becoming an Auror in his mind, he is already imagining a career as a Quidditch player. Harry saw himself in robes that had his name on the back and imagined the sensation of hearing 100,000 strong crowd roar as Ludo Bagman's voice echoed through the stadium. I give you Potter! So not only is he naturally gifted in this area, he also dreamed of this before he had any other ideas. Plus, Dumbledore's main reason for not telling Harry the prophecy for so long is because he wanted Harry to have as normal a childhood as possible. A childhood that, if you will recall, before Voldemort's attack, included, thank you for Harry's birthday present. It was his favorite by far. 1 year old and already zooming along on a toy broomstick. He looked so pleased with himself. James says he's going to be a great Quidditch player someday. See, neither can live while the other survives and all that jazz, because not living isn't about death. It's about not being able to pursue life as Harry, envisions for himself. Of course, this effort is in vain as Harry barely ever has a moment of normalcy, but Quidditch is that one thing that often seems to break through. So, how fitting would it be if Harry's adult life is built reclaiming the life he missed out on because of Voldemort? I mean, in some ways it is anyway. He has kids who, have parents and gets to treat a godson the way the Dursleys never treated him.
Bring my coffee, boy.
And finally gets to be with Ginny, who, God, what was her future career, by the way? Oh yeah, professional Quidditch player.
Shut it!
Thanks.
But y'all, we're gonna take a quick pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Raycon. Because speaking of careers, I think something you learned very quickly is that having the right tool for the job can make all the difference. Like, for example, when it comes to the gym, I love Raycon's everyday earbuds because the active noise cancellation is clutch. It helps me get in the zone. But at home, it's a different story. I have 3 wrecking balls, or as I like to call them, children, who I need to be able to hear, even if I'm, taking in a podcast or an audiobook or my latest K-pop playlist, which I'll happily link below. You're welcome to try it out. It's amazing, which is why at home, I reach for my Raycon Essential Open earbuds. Blackpink in your area. Open ear tech was actually something new to me when I first found them, but the way they work is by having your earbuds sit just outside the ear canal, so you get a really clear sound, but you can actually hear all of your surroundings as well. I just wear these around the house, but another added bonus is they actually stay in, so when Beth goes for a run, they also work no problem, but she can still hear road sounds or passing cars, which is essential for not getting hit by said cars. One way or another, though, these are a part of the daily routine, and you can always shop with confidence knowing that Raycon offers a 30-day guarantee. The Essential Open earbuds are a great option for everyday listening. Go to buyraycon.com/SuperCarlinOpen to get 20% off. And thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's episode. Anyway, that brings us to the third potential career I think Harry would have been great at that would have been a way better option than Auror, and that is Wand Maker.
I wondered when I'd be seeing you, Mr. Potter.
What? Yes, I understand this one's probably catching you off guard more than the others, but hear me out. Harry has a surprisingly deep grasp of wand lore by the end of the series, which is an area of magic many wizards know nothing about or really even acknowledge. Like, for most of them, it's just, yes, I have a wand that I use to do magic. But Harry's knowledge of wand lore is literally what the final battle comes down to. And long before that, he has a lot of unique first-hand experiences with this very unique brand of magic. Sorry, I meant to say branch of magic, which is even more fitting because it's like a stick anyway. You get it? Think if Grop had a wand, it would be like a whole tree. And do you think a single unicorn hair would still work in there, or would you need like a whole horse shoved in there? It's a unicorn core. It's a unicorn core. Back to Harry, though. First of all, his own wand is a paired set with Voldemort's, meaning they have twin cores, and in their case, it's a phoenix feather from Fawkes. And this is a massive plot point and reveals another unique aspects of wands, which is what happens when brother wands meet, which is priority incantatum. Granted, that's just a spell any wand could cast on the other, but there is an additional side effect for the winner and loser of the battle, which is that the loser imparts some of their own power into the wand of the winner, which will henceforth be redirected back at the loser if they battle again. Or to put that in layman's terms, it turns Harry's wand into a golden flamethrower against Voldemort. But it doesn't stop there. Harry also learns the deeper lore of wand allegiance from Ollivander, which I dare say is something most wizards are very ignorant of. Take the Weasleys and Longbottoms, for example, two long-standing pureblood families who pass down wands from older family members to sons, Ron and Neville, who are severely hindered by their particular combination of wood and core.
Why is it always me?
You'd think if anyone knew the dangers or even potential downsides of passing on wands, it would be them, but they have no idea. Now, fortunately for Ron and Neville, they both end up breaking their wands and receiving new ones, but even that gives Harry more wand lore. He spends an entire year with Ron and his broken wand and sees firsthand how it fails to operate.
Eat slugs!
And how bad the ill effects of a broken wand can be when Lockhart permanently damages his own memory. Speaking of broken wands, though, Harry is also one of two known people to have ever repaired a broken wand. Obviously, first we have Dumbledore with Hagrid's wand, but then also Harry with his own Holly wand, because he is at the time the master of the Elder Wand. Which, I mean, how many other wand makers can boast that feat, right? Well, actually, I mean, like, of the other two that we know, one of them was Grigorovich, who indeed was master of the Elder Wand, so like 50%. Actually, just remembering, Iseult Sire makes a wand at Ilvermorny, so 1 in 3. 33%, okay? That's way better data. Actually, here's a fun mini theory for you here inside of this discussion. Can Harry's Holly wand repair other wands? I mean, if Harry is the master of the Elder Wand and the Holly wand and uses one's power to repair the other, does his mastery of the Elder Wand innately make his other wand more powerful? Or just the fact that some of the Elder Wand's power is literally inside of the Holly wand because of the repair? Or could it just be the case that we know wands have a certain amount of sentience, and therefore Harry's wand would have a pretty unique ability to remember how to repair a wand, which most wands could never have the chance to learn because it's impossible to repair them. Because then if that's true, and Harry is then uniquely capable of repairing wands, that positions him extremely well as a wand maker who can not only sell new wands, but provide maintenance and outright fixes for older ones.
No, definitely not.
I feel like there's something there, you guys. But also, just speaking of selling wands, that's the final kicker for Harry being a wand maker, because every single new Witcher wizard coming into the wizarding world needs to buy a wand, meaning that Harry, the chosen one, would serve as like the bottleneck for all incoming students. He would be the one who gets to welcome literally everyone into the wizarding world. And how absolutely fitting is that for the boy who grew up in the Muggle world and whose entrance back into the wizarding world was one of the most significant days in not only his life, but also in the history of the wizarding world. How cool would it be if every new student got to meet Harry the Chosen One Potter as their first step into the wizarding world?
Bless my soul. It's Harry Potter.
Harry's a great fit for this as well, because by the end of the series, we know Harry is way more open and optimistic about all four houses and no longer holds a grudge against Slytherin.
You were named after 2 headmasters of Hogwarts. One of them was a Slytherin, and he was the bravest man I've ever known.
And the kids who'd be coming to him wouldn't be sorted yet, so he can comfortably and fairly introduce them to the world and encourage them towards the potential they have rather than fear of what they may become.
Terrible. But great.
But there you go, you guys. 3 way better careers Harry should have pursued instead of becoming an Auror. But my question for you is, which of them do you think he would have been the best at, or would you have been the most happy with? Let me know in the towel section down below. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see some other potential alternate futures for the Wizarding World, you can check out our What If Barty Crouch Jr. is the Next Evil Lord in Waiting. We have it like all broken down and actually makes way more sense than you might think. But otherwise, until next time, remember, ducks, they go in cups.